Emerging from a financial struggle will require a shift in mindset and behavior. Nothing worth doing is easy. How ready are you to rewrite your financial story and take control of your finances and embark on a new journey? If you want to emerge victorious from your financial struggles, I'm inviting you to watch this episode. We have today with us a very important guest who will be giving us some very useful tips on how to rise from our financial circumstances.
Welcome to Totally Thorpe. I'm Krista Thorpe.
And I'm Alwyn Thorpe.
Join us as we discuss money and marriage.
My relationship with money wasn't always good.
Yeah.
I'm coming from far, and trust me, I still have a long way to go. I've made so many mistakes.
Yeah.
I'm borderline embarrassed to talk about them. When it comes to money, I've made a lot of mistakes, and the good thing is that I've recovered from some of them pretty quickly, and trust me, some of them cost me a lot.
Yeah, which is understandable. And some persons have some serious, personal stories that will even make them feel ashamed to speak, as you mentioned, about it. But because when you look back, you're like, how could I have been so foolish with my money, or make some crazy decisions?
Man, trust me, I have a couple of those stories, and I'm sure that I'm not alone.
Yes.
I'm not proud to look back. Sometimes I look back and I shake my head. But guess what? Knowledge is power, and it's good when they bucket toe when you fall, you get back up.
Definitely. So guys, your relationship with money has a lot to do with your first introduction to money. This, of course, would have been from, a child. Oftentimes it's your introduction to money that leads to your mindset towards money. Stop and think for a moment. How was money handled in your house? Can you remember? What about you, Alwyn? Can you remember?
Yeah, well, my mom was the more strict, and she was very organized with money.
Right.
Daddy, he wasn't a spendthrift based on what I remember.
Right.
But we never grew up poor, but we definitely weren't rich.
Right.
So we were able to, I guess mommy did hold the ship tight. How about you?
Well, for me, definitely, I knew for sure that it wasn't any situation where there was too much abundance. It was kind of, I've said this to you before, that it's more like a paycheck to paycheck. It's not like you got to a bit hungry or anything, but for sure you know that things never that, things kind of tight, for sure. And that's what I experienced.
Well, you're not too old to have a mindset change. But the reality is that you can't wish away the mindset. You have to wake up in the morning and focus on getting out. You can't just wake up and say, it's gone.
Yeah.
You have to focus and to work on it. There has to be self-introspection, realizing that there's a problem and taking responsibility and fixing it.
Yes.
Now, if you're constantly in a financial rut, then at some point you have to look at it and realize that, the way that you're doing things is not working.
Yes.
Therefore, you need to make some changes in your mindset and actions.
For sure. Do you believe that over the years your mindset has changed as it pertains to money?
Yeah, man, definitely. For me, I consume a lot of books, read a lot of books about it, watch a lot of videos. I was very interested in the topic, especially because of the profession. I was helping people get out of these financial situations. So I had to get some knowledge.
You have to. I understand. For me, my mindset is changing, right? I'm not fully there yet. Sometimes I believe I place too much value on money at times because that can, in and itself, can be unhealthy. I think that stems from, working so hard for your money that you don't want to squander it on foolishness. Yeah. But one thing I've learned is that two extremes are not good. When you hold on too much, you tend to, you don't want to live a little. But then when you too loose, you can spiral into a downward movement, and that knowing itself can bring about brokenness and poverty. And trust me, I'm not about that life.
Yeah, no, definitely not about that.
Balance is key for me, for sure. It's a mindset thing, guys. Because nothing will change around you until your mindset changes. And that is a fact.
Yeah, man. So guys, Krista and I are believers. So anything that we do, we invite God to be a part of it.
For sure. Always.
So, I was at church recently, and, I saw the sermon on finances, and it really stood out to me, resonated with me. So we invited our pastor to come and speak with us in creating a new mindset on how we look at money and our personal finances.
Yes, guys, we have some burning questions like how do you go about changing your mindset? Does God care about our finances? Because I know that you have heard it sometimes that some of these best-selling books mirror the contents from the Bible.
Yeah.
You know, even when Steve Harvey was in Jamaica, he made mention to that persons were here thinking that he came with some great idea that this is what you do to succeed and everything. But what he did, guys, he shared with us about three verses from the Bible that changed his life completely.
Yeah, man, I remember the three. I mean, the first one was James 4 verse 2. So you do not have because you do not ask.
Right, so you have not because you ask not.
Exactly. So, you want something, ask God for it.
Yes.
And then the second one was Habakkuk 2 verse 2. And it's a write down a vision and make it plain so that when you read it, you run to it.
For sure.
So you have to write down
everything,
your goals.
write it down
what you want. And then the last one that he mentioned was Hebrews 11 verse 1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And Albert Einstein pretty much mirrored that when he said imagination is everything. It's a preview to life's coming attractions.
For sure. So guys, follow us now to the ambassadors so we can hear from Pastor Dwight.
So we're here at the ambassadors, joined by Pastor Dwight Fletcher, senior pastor and one of the founding pastors of Transform Life Church. And we're very happy you could join us today.
Yes.
We thank you very much for joining us.
It is my pleasure.
Awesome.
It's good to be here.
Yes. So we're gonna ask you some questions on money. Because we saw this quote, in Forbes. Money and possessions are the second most referenced topics in the Bible. Money is mentioned more than 800 times.
Actually, there are other sources that say it's mentioned over 2,000 times in the Bible. If you're actually wondering why we're talking to a pastor about the mindset of money, that is why. So I have a few questions about that. So, first question. Is it possible to change your mindset?
Change your mindset? Oh, definitely. Mindset forms is part of your belief system, comes out of your belief system, and it helps you to make your decisions, or it is what creates the basis for you to make your decisions. But your mindset over time changes. Changes based on your learning, it changes based on your experience. But yes, you can deliberately now change your mindset. If you want it, if you know new information, if you recognize that there's something wrong in the way you think, you can be deliberate about changing that mindset to a correct mindset.
Okay, so as you said that you have to be deliberate.
Yes.
What would you say are some of the ways that you can start that journey?
Okay, so there's this quote by Raldo Emerson, I think it is. He says, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an act, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. And sow a character, reap a destiny.
Wow.
So that is sort of the method by which you would change your mindset. You have to know the mindset that you want to change.
Right.
And then you have to start to fill your mind with correct mindset. It's almost like you're replacing the old thoughts with new thoughts. But thoughts are thoughts until you start to act on them.
Right.
And just start to know those thoughts, you start to act on it. And you practice doing the right thing over and over. And that yields a habit. And eventually, it starts to replace your own mindset. It becomes like reflex. You're doing it out of norm rather than out of just having to purposely do it.
Okay.
Makes sense. All right. So, do you think God cares about money or cares about what we do with money?
Well, said over 2,000 quotes on it. But let me tell you something. Ecclesiastes 10:19 says, money answers all things.
Money answers all things.
Yes. So in the Bible, God obviously understands that money as a tool is important to our lives.
Yep.
Then he says in Deuteronomy 8:18, he gives you the ability to gain wealth. So not only does he know that it's important, but he empowers us to gain the money that is important.
By giving us the ability.
Wow.
Then you have Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance
I love that
for his
quote.
children's children.
I love it.
So now, this tool that he has given us is not only for us,
Right.
but it's generational.
Yeah.
So yes, God is very interested in money.
Yes.
And he understands the use of it in our lives, right? And what it's there for.
Yes. I mean, I love the quote he said, a good man leaves an inheritance, and we use that a lot.
Insurance.
It's an insurance. So we use that
Insurance.
a lot. Like, that is something that we literally sponge. We will rinse it. Rinse that word. And that's, I mean, it is from the Bible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just secular.
Right. What I'm amazed about is just how much what we call secular information now, when you trace it back,
Right.
you find the biblical principle.
100%.
Right? So a lot of times, some of what the gurus are speaking about, if you can find it straight from scripture.
100%. Another question for you, Pastor, is what are some ways we can improve our relationship with finances from a biblical perspective? Yes.
Well, obviously then you would have to start to look at what the biblical reference is, start to check out what the biblical references are. So, and sometimes what I do is that if I have a subject I need to look at, I just go and check out every reference to in the Bible. Like I just literally, it takes time. For example, money will be one of those things that will take a lot of time. And we start to interact with that information. And as we start to do that, it informs us of a different way that we can approach money. Or just the truth that God is not ashamed of us using money. God is not ashamed of us being rich. There's no challenge. The money by itself is not good or bad.
Right.
It's how we approach money that determines whether or not it becomes a good or bad tool in our hands. It's just a tool.
It's just a tool. It's just how we operate.
It's how we operate. It's a tool. So you know that if you use a tool in the wrong way, you get the wrong results.
Correct.
Right? And that's the problem with money. Because money has an influence over us that can sometimes take us in the wrong direction. And that's the care that we need to spend.
Right. I want to make a point as you said that, because a lot of times you hear people say, oh, money is the root of all evil, but they don't put the part about, is it the love of it?
Yes,
or is
love of money is a root of all evil. It's not the only root.
Get
you understand? The love of money is the problem.
Okay.
Because the truth is, money answers all things. Sometimes we can eventually start to rely on the money rather than the supplier of the money.
Yes.
The supplier is who we rely on, not the money itself.
Yeah. All right. So with that said, what would you say are some unhealthy ways that we could relate to money?
Well, in the world that we live in, for example, emphasizes getting, that the things that we get will bring us happiness. So what happens is that mindset pushes us into debt. It pushes us into accumulating things in the object that it might bring happiness, and it doesn't bring happiness. As a matter of fact, it sometimes brings sadness. You know? Martin Seligman says that in this age we have more than we had ever before, and yet we are more unhappy than we had ever before.
Wow.
Right? So in other words, in the 40s when people were struggling, they had happier lives with less.
Yes.
So I think it's how the world pushes us after things, and that kind of greed that it sort of gets us to have. And that is a very bad orientation.
Yeah, man, I saw something about the major problem with us and our age is comparison.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. You sell a better car than
Right.
do I going to sell my car and back, you know?
Yeah.
And it just gets us down into greed.
Right. I agree because if I have my car and I'm perfectly fine with my car, and then you go over there and you say, okay, you drive a nice Toyota, you're good with that. But then as your neighbor now, you see with this car, then you become uncomfortable because, oh, this person may have a better car than mine. And that's when it comes in where you're comparing and you're like, but how God I do that for them and he's not doing this for me. But then
But they really saw the ads, you know, saw the ads point you in that direction, you know. Be the envy of your neighbor.
Yes.
That's it.
That is so true. Yes.
Be the envy of your is not be comfortable in your car. Be the envy of your neighbor.
Yes.
The purpose is just wrong.
Yes, it's really wrong. Really wrong. I mean, and I want to ask you, Pastor, because this is something that I wonder, even for myself. Do you believe that how we operate with money, right, as an adult, has anything to do with our background, our parents, and
You started from mindset. And that's where you get the mindset from. Because you see your parents act in a particular way, you see them orient money in a particular way, and you absorb that. Or you can absorb it in the negative way. So let us say you came up in humble circumstance. You can make a decision in your mind. I will always be wealthy. I will always have the best. And that mindset can work in the reverse also. So it pushes you to get things done. It gets it in a way that is not helpful to you. But yes, so from both sides, where you were raised, it has to do with your mindset, your belief system determines how you end up operating in your life.
Right. And I mean, I can personally speak to that because I feel like how I grew up, it was always paycheck to paycheck. And so I find that most times I don't want to ever be in that situation. So we're like two extremes, right?
Opposites.
We're complete opposites because I'm the one that will say, no, we're not doing this. And he's like, no man, spend some of it. So it's like, so I'm like pulling back. He's always like, no man, do this and do that. So we're trying to find a middle ground, right? Balance. And so that can be unhealthy, like pulling back too much.
Pulling back too much.
Yes.
And spending too much.
Too much can be. So
this becomes a really good union. No, it's always in compromise.
We always have to compromise.
Let us find a middle ground.
Yes.
You know? Yes.
So she pulled me back a little bit. I said, let's enjoy that a little bit.
Yes. So, and I believe that stemmed from how I was brought up because I just believe that. And I said this to myself, like, I will always want to be in abundance. And I feel like because it was always not enough, it's just tight, tight. So it's like I always want to have more than enough. So that more than enough means that you can give more, you can share more. I always want to be the lender, never the borrower, you know what I mean? So that stems from that, but I know that it can be a little unhealthy if you're too closed in and just like you don't want to live, you know what I mean? So
all right, so we realize that there is a specific mindset about money, and we know that we can actually change our mindset about money, and we know that the Bible speaks about money, and it's a good place to go and find out how to manage money. Now, we know that you wrote a book. I want you to tell us about it. What's the title and how we can go get it?
So I wrote a book, God Please Talk to Me. And as believers, that is our bread and butter. Meaning we have the Bible as our gold standard. But the truth is, God wants to speak to us directly. We always judge it compared to the Bible. But He wants to inform us about what He's saying to us. And what that book helps us to do is to help us to hear God. Right? Because for the Christian, it's indispensable for him to hear God. And what I wrote it is that when I was younger, I used to hear people talk about hearing from the Lord. They would say, God told me to do this, or God told me to do that. And when I asked them, how do you know? They would not be able to tell me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So again, I started to just read on the subject, research every verse in the Bible on the
Yes,
subject.
yes.
And I started to inform myself, and slowly but surely, the Lord revealed to me just how to hear from Him. So what I did was, along with the other staff pastors, Pastor
Yes.
Jones, Pastor John Claude, Pastor Marshall, we created a book that is like a system. It's an understanding, simple language,
Yes.
so that anybody can get it. Because it is just our bread and butter as Christians.
Okay, makes
Okay,
sense.
where can we find the book?
So it's available on Amazon. The paperback version is $15.99 and the Kindle version I think is $9.99. It's available at Santa's bookstore.
Okay.
It's available at Brian's bookstore and at Kingston Bookshop.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice. Thank
Get
you.
the other version, huh?
Yes. No, I hear we really thinking about that.
Yes.
The other version.
I think that's where the world is going now. Like a lot of people want to just.
Simple.
Yeah.
Do it in a car. Every time in a car you're listening.
Yes. Yeah.
Getting that information.
Yes, for sure. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Pastor. Just sharing your wisdom and your thoughts. Yes.
Thanks again, Pastor.
Yes, thank you so much.
Alvin.
Yes. If you want to find out more about Pastor Dwight, follow him on Instagram at Dwight A. Fletcher and feel free to join him every Sunday at Transform Life Church in person at 63 Hagley Park Road or on YouTube on the Transform Life Church channel. There are 2 services starting at 8 a.m. and 10:30 a.m.
So that was a great conversation with Pastor. He shared some really good things and I came back learning something.
For sure.
I hope you did.
Yes. Right. So we have put together a list of actions you can use to better your financial position. 1. Tackle the issue head on and do not ignore the problem. 2. Start reading books on money management. 3. Listen to videos on good money habits. 4. Make a budget. Separate your wants from your needs. 5. Live within your means. 6. Delayed gratification is a thing. It actually works. 7. Self-control. Try and control your spending. 8. Give away some money. Yes, you heard it right. Give away some money. 9. Set smart financial goals. 10. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. 11. Have a vision for your life.
So if you guys like this video and you got some useful tips, please like it and share it. Comment. Let us know what you are doing to change your mindset.
Yes.
And I like books, so do me a favor. Any books that you have read or listened to, I'm an audiobook guy,
Yes.
share that in the comment so that we can go there and look at those books and go get them. Alright? So until next time.
Bye.